Yeah, I get that. Okay, we're going to switch gears. Here's a question. Has the pandemic changed how you view regret? According to psychologists, the pain of things that we did or didn't do can last a lifetime. So how do you feel about regrets? Have they changed? Your feelings about them changed over the past couple of years?
I have to say they changed after reading this article, because I don't have any major regrets. I fear, though, having regret on my deathbed. Like, I'm haunted by the potential of regret. So in this article, a palliative nurse has collected a lot of data about people's regret on their deathbeds, and it was absolutely haunting. Like, I wish I had lived more to be my authentic self. I wish I had allowed myself to be more happy. I wish I had stayed in touch with my good friends. And that list it was kind of heartbreaking, but also I want to use it as a map, if you will, from this moment forward. I don't want to have those regrets.
Mm-hmm. That word potential regret is so good, Jess, because I think I've been feeling that. I don't have regret either in my life. I feel like that's not a productive thing for me, but I genuinely feel like I've lived a pretty solid life. Not that I haven't made mistakes, but I don't regret that I made those mistakes, right? I've learned a lot from them. It's the potential regret when it comes to mortality. And I think for me, that's what the pandemic specifically has really targeted. I've lost family members to COVID, and people have lost a lot of people to many other things as well. And I think it's in those moments when you think, I don't want to lose somebody, or I don't want my life to end with that regret. And that's been more mindful and front and center because mortality feels so salient in these times. And I think about my elderly parents and all my loved ones. I want to be the kind of mom that doesn't have regrets that I didn't do everything I could to be the best mom that I could, or I don't want to leave anything on the table that I wasn't the best daughter. And for me, it is saying simple words. And it sounds so simple, but I really want to try to practice telling the people who I love the most, starting with everybody on this panel, that I love you. And I don't ever want you to think that I have never loved you. I love you, love you, love you. And this is something I do want to take forward to everybody around me, because I fear that I haven't said that enough. And I don't want someone to pass, or me to pass, without them knowing that.
I think when the pandemic started, I love that, Melissa. I feel like the pandemic gave me time to stop and realize that I wasn't giving enough kindness to myself. Like, I was carrying around some shame or blame from stuff that I did when I was 8 years old. Like, it was just clear to me when I had more time to breathe that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not super nice to myself. And so I try to remind myself of this moment when my first child was born, and I was sitting in the sun with them, and I was having that feeling of like, I forgive you anything and I love you so much. And my mom walked up behind me and was looking at me and said, can you imagine that I love you as much as you love them? Oh. And I try and remind myself in those moments, if I am feeling like shame or something, like, we're still someone's baby, whether your parents are here or passed on, whether they did a great job or dropped the ball. We all were born with that birthright of being lovable and having happiness. So I try and look at myself now as someone's child and remember that the way that I would love and treat others, why should I be any different? Like, we have to just give ourselves a break, know that we make mistakes, forgive, and move on.
I love that. I mean, I will say, maybe I'm the only one on this panel, but I do have regrets. I mean, the biggest one I've shared on the show before is the fact that I didn't have a second child. And baked into that regret, if I'm being totally honest, is the sense that during the time when probably I should have been thinking about it, I was occupied with my career. And I was so focused on building it up and, doing all kinds of different things to make sure, I got to do this. I got to launch a website. I got to write a book. I got to go back to school. And I was so frantic about focused on my career that I didn't spend any quiet time with myself to actually listen to my, deeper wants about what my life would look like 10 or 20 years from now. And so I do have regrets. I've had to kind of face that. I've gone to therapy to talk about it. And my therapist was great, in case anyone else is relating to this kind of a regret, was just that I made the right decision for myself at that time. And it wasn't like it was completely thoughtless. I did think about it a lot. And she reminded me of that as well, because I talked about it, I guess, in therapy. Should I, shouldn't I? Anyway, I just think, and it doesn't go away completely when you've had regrets, especially about things you didn't do. But I think what you can do is focus on the things that you have and that you maybe wouldn't have if your life had gone in a different direction. So it's not an answer, but it certainly has helped me. And more people need to launch an only child club. That's what I will say. Anyway.
We'll start one. Cyn, we'll start one.
Maybe I'll start
We're
one.
not busy enough, but don't worry, we'll start one.
I can be an honorary member. I am an only child.
Yes.
And everything is okay.
Truth.
Yay!
Your only children will be fine.